This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow. We are your hosts. My name is Truck. He is Kulz to my left or right. I don't know. And then you got Shane O'Mac over there. The fantastic trio is back again, and we're here covering Fantasy Hitch Hikers for Week 8. Boys, this is episode 99.
No shit.
Whoa.
This is episode 99. The time has flown by. I couldn't be more excited at the way that this season has progressed. And Shane, you have been a great addition to the show. I just want to thank you for all of your help. But how are you guys doing today?
Good, man. So episode 100 is going to be red light, green light this week, huh?
That is exciting.
Ooh, nice.
That is big.
I forgot to mention, make sure you follow the show at Fantasy Roadshow and check out the Substack, thefantasyroadshow.substack.com. Shout out to our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Rule One Proteins. Go to www.rule1proteins.com. Enter in Roadies40 at checkout for 40% off. There's the comment. Absolutely. Yeah, we're getting into it, guys. Fucking Hitch Hikers this week, huh?
Yeah. So I'm drinking right now. I went to the sauna earlier and just was sweating out whatever I needed to sweat out.
Yeah.
And I'm now drinking the it's called Lights, Lytes by Rule One. It's a electrolyte mix, and I'm
nice.
restoring my electrolytes. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. It's like super hydrating and beneficial for hangovers, right?
Well, it can be used for that. Yes. Not currently.
Not that you have an hangover, but
not currently, no. But yes, it can be. But yeah, awesome. I am still in Louisiana. You are where?
So I am right outside of Providence, Rhode Island. I was in Boston. I've been driving all over Massachusetts today. Today has been a crazy day. I've just been back and forth. I forgot material for one stop. I brought the wrong material to the other stop. I had to go to the same place 3 times. It's just been a crazy day, but this is the bright spot of my day, talking fantasy football with you guys. I'm happy we're here, but yeah, rough day today. I'm in the truck currently, a little fun shot for you guys, but yeah. How are you guys doing?
Good. I feel out of place. Like I feel I need to be in a different state today. Like what thing doesn't go right here?
It's the road show, Shane. Get with the program.
Yeah, okay? I know.
Yeah. Before we get into Hitch Hikers, I would like to make an announcement since claiming or making my announcement that I was wrong about Brock Purdy. He has gone 0 for 2 in the last 2 games. So I would like to take back everything that I said about Brock Purdy. I would like to say that I still think he's a good quarterback. I think if he doesn't have, all of the best offensive weapons around him, he seems to struggle. I think I kind of mentioned that when I was saying he's the perfect quarterback for the Niners, but because they're 0-2, I think it's better off for the best. Brock Purdy is a better quarterback when I am not a believer. What's going to
happen now? He's going to go out and light it up next game.
Well, good. I want him to. I want what is best for Brock Purdy. I do like him. So what is best for Brock Purdy is for me not to be a believer. So I'm out on Brock Purdy. Fuck him. Fuck the Niners. Let's go.
That's awesome. I would also like to say, since my escapades with the Cowboys, I've been toying with what bandwagon to jump on since the Bears are, they got the win, but other than that, they're not going to make a push in the playoffs. So I want to hitch my trailer to a bandwagon. And in my head, I was like, the Buffalo Bills are awesome. I'm just going to go all out with the Buffalo Bills Mafia. Let's go. I was like, I'm going to save it for the pod this week. And sure enough, they go out and get embarrassed by the Patriots. And
stay away. We don't want
But
you.
even when I think about it, it's like, ugh, you're just
The Bengals,
jinxing it, so.
the Bengals and Bills are off limits for you.
Just pick a team that's not going to matter for fantasy, like Arizona.
Yeah.
Hop on
Well,
Arizona.
I want a team to root for in the playoffs, so that's why I went with what I thought the Cowboys were going to be, and so now
Stay with the Cowboys.
yeah, stick with the Cowboys. You guys don't want me as your fandom. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll find a home. But yeah, so today we're getting into it with the Hitch Hikers. There's some good list of guys here. But I mean, let's jump right in, right? You guys ready?
Let's go.
Yeah, buckle up.
All right, so we go from last week, there being 6 teams on a bye, to this week we have 0. Not a single team on a bye this week. I love that. Everybody has full roster. Everybody's full strength, ready to go. And also on top of that, not many injuries. Do you guys recall the injuries this week? I know that Christian Watson dealing with a knee injury.
I sent you a list. Let me pull it up.
Yes, please do. There was another one is Jerome Ford, high ankle sprain, going to be 1 to 2 weeks. Insert Kareem Hunt.
Do you have your phone?
I do, yes, but I am currently recording on my phone. So
Oh, you
And
are.
then you got Dawson Knox with wrist surgery in Buffalo.
All right. Yes.
Absolutely.
So Kyron Williams, Dawson Knox, Christian Watson, Jawan Johnson, Juju, James Conner, Josh Jacobs, Gerald Everett, DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel, Freiermuth, Anthony Richardson, Jimmy G, Waddle, Tannehill. That's all kind of where we were. And then Jerome Ford. Wait, never mind.
Okay.
Jerome Ford, Zonovan Knight, Ronnie Rivers. I don't know why all this is relevant, but yeah, I
not
don't know.
really.
That was the tweet that I had seen. Those are like currently players that are breaking out. What happened to Jacobs? I see him on the list. Is he injured?
I didn't see anything
so.
for him. No, I watched most of that game at the end, and there was nothing. He didn't leave the game. Nothing.
Well, Freiermuth, he's on the IR.
Okay.
Waddle's fine. This says, I don't know. This is kind of a weird list, but
Okay. Anyway, I just remember there only being like a handful of guys. It's not as bad as it was in previous weeks. So the main ones to me were Jerome Ford and Christian Watson, right? That's who we'll be talking about in place of them this week. So, but I mean, let's just start with running backs, right? Might as well.
Yep.
So we'll start with the running backs on here that should be rostered in every league, and they're rostered in a lot of leagues. But just to double check, I know Dante Foreman, he's rostered in about 48% of leagues. He's probably not going to be out there because last week when everybody got news that Roshan was out, I'm sure everybody went and picked him up. So just double check if he's out.
I see him.
He'd be a top.
Yeah, he's in a couple. He's in a couple leagues I'm in. One's a Chicago league too.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So all my leagues, everybody flew to the waiver wire last minute when they got found out that Roshan wasn't playing. So unfortunately, he's not in any of my leagues. But what about Kareem Hunt? Rostered in 46% of leagues. We've been talking about Kareem Hunt for a couple of weeks now. Obviously, with the Jerome Ford injury, Kareem Hunt's going to be very active. How do you guys feel about him going forward?
Should be good.
Yeah, he's not available in most of the leagues I'm in, but don't forget about Pierre Strong. He had 60% of the snaps after Ford went down. So he's going to get shares of those carries for sure.
Yeah, so absolutely. I wanted to talk about him in a little bit when we talk about just go into deeper leagues. But right now for the shallow leagues, Dante Foreman, Kareem Hunt, and then also Tyjae Spears, we've been talking about for a while. Chuba Hubbard, we've been talking about. So just with those right now, between Dante Foreman, Kareem Hunt, Tyjae Spears, Chuba Hubbard, how would you guys rank those as far as in terms of importance?
Go ahead, Shane. I'm looking for a piece of paper.
I think if you are short-term, I think I break it up as short-term, long-term. So if you need a win this week, Foreman's number one for me, because even if Johnson's back, he plays well enough that could be easily a split or 60-40 in the favor of Foreman. So so it'd probably be Foreman, Spears, and Hubbard. I think Spears has the most long-term potential, just because I'm not ruling out the possibility of Tennessee trading Henry near the trade deadline.
Yeah, trade deadline is October 31st. And I mean, the rumors are getting hot about that. So I agree with you.
It was just those three that you mentioned. Foreman, Spears, Hubbard.
It's Hunt, Foreman, Spears, and Hubbard. As of right now, those are rostered in most leagues. And then we'll go into a little bit further, deeper down the list here.
Yeah, so I agree with. I'll actually go Hunt. If I agree with everything Shane said, but I'm going to go Hunt as of. I think he's going to have a pretty good impact. I think that. I just think he's going to get the main role over Pierre Strong, but I have Spears as a guy. I think I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it on a recorded podcast or you and I were just talking about our teams, but Spears is someone who I am targeting because I do think that Henry's going to get traded. Like I'm pretty confident in that. So, I mean, it's one of those things like he should have a pretty heavy workload late in the season, which will be great for fantasy playoffs. That being said, is the Titans offensive line just such trash that it really won't matter? I think he's talented enough that I would take a waiver. I would take a shot on him. So because me believing that Henry's going to get traded and his value is going to go up, even if I overpay for him a little bit on his current market value, my projected value for him still exceeds that. So he's someone I'm looking to gobble up as much as I can.
Yeah, I like that. I do think he gets traded as well. I'm not sure who to. Do you guys have any ideas where you think Derrick Henry's going to go?
Ravens,
I don't know. The team I thought of, nobody's really talking about is Tampa Bay, just because maybe they're thinking they've got a legitimate shot of winning that division of theirs.
Nice. Yeah. You know? I heard that Tampa Bay is interested in Dalvin Cook as well. Dalvin Cook rumored to be on the trade block from the Jets. And I've heard those two names being linked together. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
They're again, that's another team whose fucking line is just so bad. So I don't know. I mean, like, Henry immediately makes your running game better, but like we've seen Henry be underwhelming with bad offensive lines, you know? So I don't know. I think I don't think Dalvin Cook's any good anymore, to be honest. I think he's lost his juice, but I think he fits stylistically better than Henry right now on that team. But you already have Rashad, so it's like he's just, to me, a younger, more. He just has
explosive.
Yeah, and he's not even that good. So I don't know. They're just that team's a mess. Just keep throwing the ball and try to win games.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kulz, you're more interested in Spears out of those group, and Shane, you're more interested in Foreman, right? Foreman
for 1 week. Matchups terrific. Also playing the Chargers. If Johnson's out or if he's not, I mean, if it's a 1 week, you've got to get a win. I love Foreman this week.
I would imagine that Roshan's playing, but even last week we saw that huge game from Foreman. Darrington Evans still got 14 carries. So it's like, you know, even when Roshan comes back and does have a role, it's like
he's coming back this week.
It sounded like it. I mean, he's been in concussion protocol for almost over 2 weeks.
I think he cleared it from what I saw.
Okay, then he should definitely be back then. So that's what I would be banking on. So Roshan would be an interesting pickup as well, but I think I value those guys ahead of him. Now further down the list here, there's a couple names we need to talk about. Is Amari DiMercato for the Arizona Cardinals. this kind of snip snap type of player when everybody dumped a whole bunch of fab on him, and then I think like the majority of everybody dropped him last week because it was the bipocalypse and he had to make tough decisions. And then he goes out and dominates the snap percentage. Is decently efficient, over 4.5 yards per carry, and 5 targets out of the backfield. So, Shane, what is your opinion on Amari DiMercato moving forward and this waiver wire pickup?
So I think he'll probably get the touches. My only concern, about cautioning people to spend much fab on him, is the next 2 weeks he's got the Ravens and the Browns, which are brutal matchups. And then, so then you're looking at, by the following week, you're looking at James Conner, I think, returning, or at least the practice window is opened up for him to return.
Yeah.
So you could be spending the money on a guy you're not going to get much production on these next 2 weeks with the Ravens and Browns.
Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right. So temper expectations. Don't go out spending a ton of money or a waiver priority on Amari DiMercato, but DiMercato.
Marty DiMercato.
Marty DiMercato. If he's still sitting there after the waivers run, and you have an available roster spot, no one else to pick up, he's definitely worth a roster spot in my opinion.
You just made his nickname for me is Marty.
Marty DiMercato.
Marty D. Yeah, but little teaser for later in the episode. There may be a tight end from this team that I am extremely bullish on right now.
I can't wait to talk about that. We will get to that shortly. Another running back I want to talk about. We talked about picking him up last week when he was on his bye week, but Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary's been eating into this workload. It's almost like a 50-50 split. Now they got a decent matchup coming up, and he is done off the bye week, and he's only rostered in 26% of leagues. I think he's worth a roster spot. Where would you guys put him in the group of running backs we've talked about? He's probably lower on the list of importance, right?
I have him before Chuba.
Okay, so ahead of Chuba.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like they're kind of like a similar situation, but
definitely, yeah.
I think my attitude's changed a little bit on the Texans. Like, I think they're gonna be decent. I think they're gonna be like trying to figure it out to win games. I think D'Amico Ryans wants to win now, like for his young team. So he's going to be, if Pierce is not performing, he's going to be giving Singletary good looks. And if Singletary does well with those, he's going to play. So, I kind of view him as in a similar situation to Chuba on a team that is trying to win and has the capabilities of winning. So, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit more of an exciting situation for Singletary, which is why I'd put him over Chuba.
Yeah, I like exactly how you described that. That makes a lot of sense, and I see the comparison between the two. And you're absolutely right. The Texans are a much better team right now than the Panthers, so I would as well put him above Chuba Hubbard. Chuba. All right, now the next backfield I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Rams. Majority of people kind of swung and missed with Zach Evans. He didn't get a single touch. And then, it was Schefter came out and said it's going to be Henderson and Freeman. Henderson's going to be starting. Now, just kind of like the Roshan and Dante Foreman deal, all of my leagues, I just saw a bunch of people randomly go out and either grab Freeman or Henderson. So I see Henderson on ESPN leagues is only rostered in 6% of leagues, which I find crazy, and Freeman in 11% of leagues. So I guess not a lot of people were as active as most of my leagues, but obviously Henderson had the volume, had more carries, and Freeman was more efficient. He had the most rushing yards. Where do you guys see these? How do you see this backfield playing out? Is it just a complete 50-50 split, or do you see Henderson having more value as the games proceed?
Go for it, Shane.
I think Henderson he gets the bigger share. I think McVay is actually one of those coaches, if you pay attention to what he says, it actually comes to fruition. I mean, he said he came out and said last weekend that Evans is learning, and that he expected Henderson and Freeman to split the work. And then after the game Sunday, he went on to say, hey, expect to see a similar percentage of split between these guys for this next week against the Cowboys. And so I think you'll see Henderson get more carries than Freeman. Not by a wide margin, but probably pretty similar to what it was last week. It was 18-12. I'm expecting the same thing. Henderson's going to be in on the third down work as well. He's just the better pass blocker.
Yeah, I like that. Kulz, where do you put Henderson now that we think he's the guy you want to own in that backfield?
Yeah, so I kind of swung in. I don't know if swung and miss is the right term, but I went all in on Freeman in this backfield, and I feel like okay about it. I didn't get any Henderson. So like I was at a bachelor party this weekend and put my phone away for the weekend. Just didn't even look at it.
How'd that feel? Good.
Felt outstanding, but I also like missed something like this. Like I don't think by the time I put everything away for the weekend, there was really much momentum on Henderson. So looking back, I probably would have stashed both of them and then made a decision like right now. But I mean, I liked Freeman because of how he looked in preseason. It's just something that stuck out to me. Like, oh, he actually kind of looks good. So hopefully, I don't know. I still don't know that I have answers for this backfield. I don't know that I love either of them. McVay does like to have someone win the job and take over a big role of the offense, which could be Henderson, but I don't know. I mean, whichever guy looks better, and I don't think we ever got that answer this week. So I think it'll probably continue to be Henderson until he either falls flat on his face or Freeman breaks out and has, some huge game-changing plays. But for the most part, I look at neither of them as game-changing type players, which is why Kyron ultimately probably had that entire backfield. But so I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like, I had Kyron and A-Chain go down in back-to-back weeks in a league. So I'm hurting and I need someone to fill in there. So either of them would be a touchdown dependent option I would look to. I think Royce Freeman might have a little bit of receiving upside. There's no right answer here, right? It could literally change in game. So,
yes,
we could tell you our leans. Shane seems to like the Henderson workload upside, which I would agree with. And, like I said last week, Freeman to me looks good as a running back. So, I don't know.
I think for me, personally, I think Darrell Henderson would be my number one running back pickup of the week. Although Kareem Hunt, I'm not sure who I would spend more on. But, I think I'm going to put Darrell Henderson at number 1, Kareem Hunt at number 2, Foreman at number 3, followed by Singletary and Hubbard.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, do you guys have any other running backs you want to mention? I know there's a long list here. Cam Akers looked halfway decent. He finally got more carries than Alexander Madison. Ezekiel Elliott, Big Zeke in New England, 2 games back-to-back touchdowns. I mean, that's about it as far as the guys further down the list that I probably wouldn't be taking a chance on, but they're noteworthy in deeper leagues, right?
Yeah, I mean, very deep. I'm not excited about Zeke. You got to have them get into a goal line opportunity for him to have come through with any value.
Yeah, I know 2 weeks ago he did have a 70-yarder get called back, so he still has that explosiveness, But I get you. So you're saying you like Pierre Strong more than Zeke or Cam Akers in that sense, right?
Probably, yeah. I would lean on more upside.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's jump into wide receivers then. I think that covers it for running backs. Keep an eye on Tajay Spears with that Derrick Henry news.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your ears to the ground on that one. Wide receivers. Josh Downs. I think he was the number 2 wide receiver in the week. Massive week. He looks like he really does have a connection with Gardner Minshew. I really like Josh Downs, but also Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer was a massive contributor with the Chargers this week, and then he's got the Bears this next week. Do you guys like Josh Downs or Josh Palmer? Which Josh do you like better between the two Joshes?
Downs.
You like Downs over Palmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably it's close though for me. It's real close, but I would say Downs just on the fact of he's locked in as that number 2 guy for sure. And God, I got to think at some point. I mean, guys, don't you think at some point when you spend a first round pick on Quentin Johnston that they get him involved?
He did not look good running routes when I saw him play a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's an issue with him for something, but my gosh, coach the kid up or something.
Yeah, you got to do something. I mean, he is droppable right now. I don't think he's even worth.
Palmer looks good too. Palmer looks like really good. He looks like he took a massive step forward from last year. So I'm not. I like both guys. I just like Downs more.
If you need somebody for 1 week, like this week, I think Palmer because of the matchup is who I lean to, but Downs probably for the year.
Yeah, I mean it's weird to say that the Colts offense this past week. I mean they put up 38 points on the Cleveland Browns. Like we cannot overlook that aspect of the Colts offense. And realistically, the Chargers team overall has been kind of struggling. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm Palmer over Downs, but man, Josh Downs looks really good too. Really squirmy out there. Kulz, what about Rashee Rice? I know you're a big fan of Rashee Rice. Do you have Rashee Rice over Josh Downs and Josh Palmer?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Shane, what about you?
I would say he is below those two for me, but
yeah, me as well.
I mean, I do like what I'm seeing. His route percentage participations jumped from 50 to 65% last week, and he's becoming that guy.
I mean, I have to be from where I stood and continue to stand. I think he is the number 1 receiving threat for Patrick Mahomes outside of Travis Kelce. So, you know, his touchdown numbers are going to be insane. He might not there's going to be games where he goes 100 plus, but his floor is what we saw, 560 and a touchdown. So that's his floor is 560. You know, touchdown, that may not come every game, but it's going to come a lot of games. If Patrick Mahomes throws for 4 touchdowns, one of those going to Rashee Rice. Okay. And if he throws for 3, there's a good chance one goes to Rashee Rice, and he throws for 3 more than he doesn't throw for 3. So, you know, because of all of these reasons, Rashee Rice, and it's not even close. That's the other thing. Like MVS had 3 for 85 and a touchdown.
I think so.
So like those games will happen for MVS, but not consistently. And there's no other consistent receiving option. It's Rashee Rice, you know? So because of that, I think he's just going to be a weapon, and it's going to be a consistent weapon. You know, Downs looks like he's being very consistent as well, and he's an awesome talent, but he has Minshew, not Mahomes, throwing the ball. So there's going to be games where Minshew is just dog shit. And there's not going to be games when Mahomes is dog shit, especially towards the end of the year when he's getting things ramped up for a championship run. So.
Yeah, no, you make great points. The Mahomes and the Chiefs are matchup proof, and the Colts are not, even though they did do really good against a really tough matchup in the Browns. So we'll see how that develops.
And
but yeah,
with Palmer, like, is Brandon Staley? We talked about it last night. Shane, is
he's
Brandon
trash.
Staley the worst head coach in football?
What do you think?
Well, besides your guy in Atlanta.
Artie.
Artie Smith.
Yeah. Besides
Yeah,
Artie.
I would say that about Eberflus, even though he did start to turn around this defense. So he's got some good coaching in him, but yeah, I don't know. But I don't know about a head coach. But
Who's the kid? Who's the Bears? The guy I want the Bears to get. Just keep going. I think about it. My brain's not.
Let me know.
My brain's not sharp
just,
enough.
Just to recap, Josh Palmer is rostered in 56% of leagues. And then the next highest is Rashee Rice with 47, and then Josh Downs with 35. So we've been talking about Josh Palmer for a few weeks now, telling you to pick him up after Mike Williams got injured, which was like, what, week 2, week 3?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking about him for a long time, but hopefully you already have him on your roster. You don't need to worry about it. Josh Downs at 35%, probably available in most leagues. But to go a little bit further down the list now, I want to bring up someone like Kendrick Bourne. I know we've been preaching not to roster Patriots as of recently, but Kendrick Bourne, 2 back-to-back good games. He is the clear number 1 wide receiver on this team, and the Patriots played good against the Bills defense. I mean, like, Shane, what is your confidence level for Kendrick Bourne? Say if you needed him in a pinch, you're in a deep league, are you confident in starting Kendrick Bourne?
No and no. He would only, if we had this week where we had 6 buys, then I could see maybe if you had to pick him up and play, but I'm not excited to pick him up this week. Him or Demario Douglas or anybody on that team.
Yeah, for me, Kendrick Bourne is rosterable after the waivers run, and you have some spots on your bench to put him there in case you need him. But I still think he's worth a roster spot.
Do you want him in Dynasty?
No, I don't want to trade for him. But if he's just sitting there on the waiver wire and he's free after waivers run, I'd be considering him.
What about in a Dynasty, a deep Dynasty league?
No, I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Ben Johnson, that's who I want. The Bears to
offensive
hire.
Coordinator for the Lions.
Oh yeah. Dude, I'd take him right now in Dallas over Mike McCarthy.
Well, yeah, McCarthy sucks.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, that's who I want.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about this Christian Watson injury? No, Romeo Doubs. Yes, it's unfortunate. Romeo Doubs should not be out there in most leagues. I'm not even sure what his.
I almost dropped him in a league.
Yeah.
Oh, he's rostered in 52%, so over 50%. He might be out there. Definitely add Romeo Doubs to this list. I mean, we have no news about Christian Watson yet, right?
No, not official. Just I've read some reports it could be multi-game absence. So,
well, the main thing is that this Packers offense has been struggling. So it's like I wouldn't have Romeo Doubs or Jaden Reed high on the list. Jaden Reed caught a touchdown, but it was on a tipped pass. So not
Ben
really
Johnson.
Much of a target.
We need Ben Johnson.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys anyone other that stand out to you? I know Jackson Smith and Jigba might be available on some leagues. He's only rostered in 56%. Kind of right around there with Josh Palmer. So I mean, if JSN is sitting there, do you take him over everybody else that we mentioned? Or are you still putting him under Downs and Palmer?
He would be right underneath those guys.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would put him as well.
Did you see the touchdown? Did it look good? I didn't see highlights.
It was a seam route. So, like 25, 30 yards. If for some reason they say DK is going to be out for a couple of games, then I'd bump him up probably one of the top spots. But
yeah.
What was DK out for?
This one was hip. He had a new injury. It was a hip.
So it had nothing
Okay.
to do with being bisexual with CTE.
Okay.
It did not. That was not reported by Adam
All
Schefter.
right, let's
Okay.
move along here.
But
We
hip,
have
hip, you never know with hip. It was a hip issue. You never know.
what about Tank Dell? Tank Dell's coming off of a bye week. I know he's available on some leagues. Where would you put Tank Dell on that list of Downs, Palmer, Rashee Rice, and JSN?
Below him.
Below all of them, huh?
I was just looking to drop him. Actually, I was going through waivers when I was in the sauna, as I mentioned, and before I got just too sweaty and I couldn't press anything on my phone, I was looking at dropping Tank Dell. I have JSN on that team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably going to drop them. Josh Palmer, Downs, they're on the waiver wire. So those are two guys that we're talking about that I prefer over him.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, even Romeo
Yeah,
Dobbs is out there. I would probably pick up Dobbs over him. So
yeah, I dropped him last week to pick up I think Freeman. So that was a decision I made pretty late in the week there. But yeah, I think we're on the same page here. So Downs, Palmer. Are we both? I know, Shane, did you say Palmer over Downs, or are we all Downs over Palmer?
I'm Downs over Palmer.
Okay, Kulz,
you said you were Palmer over Downs. I thought. Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Ryan Truck.
Oh.
You said Truck. You said Palmer. I thought.
Oh yeah. Okay. No. You're right. I did when I was breaking that down. Josh Palmer over Downs.
Yeah.
I was battling between the efficiency of that offense and how explosive they are, and it's hard to believe that the Colts have a better offense than the Chargers. But
I don't think they do. The Chargers they have to beat the shit out of the Bears this week, right? Like,
I don't know, man. The Bears defense has been humming lately. So
the Chargers are 2-4, 2-5.
2-5.
They've already had a bye week, so
They're 2-4. Yeah, so you beat the shit out of the Bears. You're 3-4. You know, it's not over for them. They just have to win games and they have to beat some good teams. You know, they have the Broncos in their division. They need to win those two.
Yeah.
Have they already played them? That's the question. Let me look real quick because I don't think it's over for them. I just think they're fighting from behind every game because they have a dog shit coach.
Yeah. That's fair.
Sunday Night Football, 2-4 Chargers. Yeah, I mean, you got Bears, then you go to the Jets. As much as as difficult as the Jets have been, you have Zach Wilson versus Herbert. You need to win both of those games to get to 500.
Yeah.
Beat a Lions team that's tough, but you're at home. Packers, Ravens, Patriots, Broncos, Raiders. I mean, that's a good 3-game stretch of Patriots, Broncos, Raiders. They got to just start playing playoff football if they want to make the playoffs. You know, beat the teams you should, and play like a playoff team, and then you'll find yourself there. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right, so recap: Josh Downs, probably number one as I'm talking through it, and then Josh Palmer, then Rashee Rice, and so forth. So, how much are you guys willing? I know we don't talk fab. I know it's different in every league. Are you guys willing to spend a lot on Downs, or burn your waiver priority on Downs and Palmer?
I don't talk fab.
Kulz hates talking fab.
We don't talk about fab. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for specific percentages. Just saying, are you willing to spend up on those players?
I don't mind spending a waiver wire priority on one of those guys. Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, no, me as well. All right, so let's jump into tight ends. I know, Kulz, you're very chomping at the bits. There's a couple guys on this list that I know you are in love with. Why don't we start with the main one, Dalton Kincaid. Daltonian Kincaid breakout season is here.
Stop
everybody, everybody, stop what you're doing right now. And Dalton Kincaid, if you're hurting at tight end, he is going to be your fix. If he's sitting there on the waiver wire and you need a tight end, he might be my top pickup this week. He led the Bills, in receptions and receiving yards. And I'm ready for this breakout. Kulz, what do you have to say to everybody out there contemplating on whether or not to pick up Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah, I just think he's hopefully going to be taken off now. I mean, he's clearly like a huge piece of that offense, a high volume type or high reception volume type guy. He's reliable. He's going to be like that like third and 5 to 7 option that's super reliable that Allen knows he can go to get the first down, which leads to a ton of targets. You saw that game where he just force fed Diggs, I think like 14 targets in the first half a couple weeks ago. But, that's not always going to be available against a team like the Patriots where Belichick he focuses on taking down the number one option, which you saw in Diggs. Of course, he ended up getting the end zone late in the game, but he limited Diggs early, so Kincaid was the benefactor of that. So I don't know. I mean, this Bills team has a lot of issues right now.
Yeah.
So that's concerning, but if he finds a little bit of trust in Kincaid, which seems to have happened, and they kind of seem to get some of their offensive rhythm back and start winning games, then, that could really benefit Kincaid, just kind of having success at the right time and building on that momentum with the team. So Bills have to focus on winning games right now, and hopefully Kincaid, eats because of it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Shane. If you were in need of a tight end, in desperate need of a tight end, say you were starting Kyle Pitts on a weekly basis and you just needed to step it up a notch.
Or Cole Kmet.
How high are you putting Dalton Kincaid in that list of running backs and wide receivers we talked about? Are you putting him above all of them?
He would be above the receivers, yes. I think as long as Dawson Knox is out, he is a weekly top 7 finish at tight end position. I mean, you look at Knox was getting like 50% of the routes and snaps. So now you take away that. I mean, like, I don't remember where I had seen it, but like basically if you combine Knox and Kincaid's production this year, you would have the average of Evan Ingram, who is like tight end 5 almost every week.
Yeah, I think really the sky's the limit for Dalton Kincaid. Like, he's going to be on the field a lot, and this Bills offense needs him, in my opinion. So I would be prioritizing him above all the wide receivers and most of the running backs, probably just right under Henderson if I needed a running back. But other tight ends that I want to talk about, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is rostered in 6% of leagues. He goes out there and he's just the X factor. He does a lot. I was trying to bring him up last week, and Kulz shut me down rather quickly and says that we don't talk about Taysom Hill on this podcast. But I think
I was just about to say it again.
I get it, dude. I get it. I don't like.
We can talk about him on the podcast. I'm just going to give you nothing there. I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, to me, if you don't want to burn on a tight end and you don't necessarily need one, but your tight end's on a bye in next week or the week after, he's a good spot start in my opinion. He's got opportunity. He goes out there and they like using him. So I just think he's worth being talked about. He's only rostered in 6% of leagues, so he's out there pretty much for everybody. Another couple is
I'll say something about Taysom Hill because I actually do love Taysom Hill as a football player, but as a fantasy football guy, I've always just been like, he's not a real. He's not a fantasy football player in my mind. I just don't even consider him.
Okay. All right.
I put whiteout on his name a long time ago. Just permanent whiteout. It'll save me a lot of stress.
Yeah. What about Michael Mayer? I know Michael Mayer was a hot name within the fantasy football realm last week, heading into last weekend. I know he didn't have a big game, but I think Michael Mayer's worth a roster spot. If he was out there and needed a tight end and I miss out on Kincaid, Mayer is probably number 2 ahead of Jonnu Smith and Luke Musgrave. I don't know. How do you guys feel about those three, Mayer, Musgrave, and Jonnu Smith?
I think as bad as that game was, I did like, and I think he still got 5 targets in it, and that was with Brian Hoyer at quarterback. So I think Jimmy G should be coming back maybe this week or the week after. But
Yeah.
the thing I like about Mayer is he plays 2 of the bottom 5 defenses against fantasy tight ends in the next 2 weeks in the Lions and the Giants.
Nice.
So,
yeah, just with that tidbit alone, yeah, he's again, I would still probably put him behind Kincaid, but I do like Mayer moving forward. And then last but not least, Kulz, how about Trey McBride?
Yeah, let's go.
What do you have to say about Trey McBride?
I love Trey McBride. He's just a great receiving tight end. Ertz was like what, number 1 tight end for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, he was
for sure in
top
targets.
Top 5 for sure.
And Ertz goes down. It was inevitable. He's just aging, and with that amount of targets, like he's just an older guy. I mean, he's been an awesome tight end for a long time, but it's McBride's time to shine in that offense and potentially at a really good time. Like if Connor's coming off IR and is healthy, and Kyler, if Coach Gannon wants to figure out like, what do I have in this Cardinals team, and tries to go out and win games with his guys, we don't know what that looks like. We're all saying like Tank is the right move, but Gannon's a good coach. He's a tough coach. He likes to like play fucking football, honestly. So I could see them before trading Hollywood seeing like, how good can our team be? They were one of the best first half teams in the league. So, what does that look like when you have your starting quarterback back? You have your first team offense plus McBride. It could just be good timing for him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He has no competition at the role in a time that they try to figure out if they're a good winning football team. He could gain some momentum here late in the season, being a huge part of that offense, but also a huge part of someone's fantasy football team and being like a sneaky kind of league winner. Him and Kincaid both,
Yeah, definitely. So would you put McBride over Michael Mayer?
I would, but I'm also biased. I love McBride.
Yeah, we have him in a lot of underdog leagues.
Yeah, like 40,
super happy about that.
40%, something like that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, if you're looking for a streaming tight end, we will be talking about. Come and join us for our red.
I want to hear Shane talk about McBride. Someone a little less biased.
Yeah, from what I've seen him, I like him a lot. If I'm looking at the next 2 weeks, I'd probably go Mayer over McBride just because of the matchups. But man, I'm putting McBride ahead of someone like Musgrave. I would probably pick him up if you've been streaming Logan Thomas and hoping for him to have that production he had 3 weeks ago. I'd pick him up over Logan Thomas. So that kind of gives you an idea where I see him at.
I would agree with that as well. Yeah. But like I said, come and check us out for our red light, green light episode here in a couple days. Probably have
episode 100.
Episode 100. That's awesome. Very excited about that. We'll be going live sometime tomorrow. Follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/sportsethos. Click the bell to get notified for our live episodes. All right, as far as quarterbacks, just quick hit. Baker Mayfield rostered in 36% of leagues. Desmond Ridder rostered in 19%. Sam Howell in 59%. Gardner Minshew at 13%. Do any of those names, Baker, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Gardner Minshew? I mean, we're back at full strength here this week, so probably no quarterbacks are going to be picked up. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
We got to figure out something for episode 100 to like promote the shit out of it or something. I don't know. But I have a question for Shane. I am struggling in one league. I'm streaming quarterbacks. I had Daniel Jones. We know how that's gone. I've been like picking up spot starting Sam Howell, and I recently saw someone dropped last week, and I'm looking to put a top priority on him just because I need someone I can rely on at quarterback. And sitting there was Dak Prescott.
Oh.
Do I trust him to be QB1 regardless of matchup?
No. So there's two answers to that question. No, you could pick him up. So you could pick him up and stream him, but no, he is not matchup proof.
Fuck. I was hoping I just had an answer, but I will.
Pick him up. Oh, okay. There we go. Shockingly, Trevor Lawrence was dropped in one of the leagues I'm in. Some bozo dropped him. So,
same
last week. Trevor Lawrence. Yeah,
last week in this league, or Lawrence and Stafford were dropped, and I tried to get cute and pick them up, but I didn't want to burn a priority, so I thought they would clear. They didn't. Whatever. I'm pissed.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that about does it. We will be covering streaming tight ends, streaming quarterbacks, and streaming defenses in our red light, green light episode, along with all of our red light, green light guys, people we love and hate this week. That'll all be covered in tomorrow's episode, so stay tuned for episode 100. But let's get into some mailbag. We got quite a few questions over here. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for posting your questions. Let's get into it. Kulz, thank you for putting
I got you.
Yes, awesome. All right, so Clap Nuts, great name. Thank you for chiming in. I traded Pickens and Downs for Dameon Pierce and Zay Flowers. Needed the running back depth. Did I take an L? Pickens and Downs for Pierce and Flowers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Pierce, so I would say an L just from I don't know that you gained much running back depth from a running back who's likely getting phased out at least a little bit.
Yeah, for me, if you're asking if you took an L, you kind of already have the idea that you did take an L. The Pickens and Downs, it's a good combo, obviously now with Downs exploding last week, but I like Pickens, and I always thought that Downs and Minshew had a good connection. So yeah, I would say you took an L there. Shane, you in agreement?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Flowers and Downs could be similar for the rest of the year, and I think Pickens outscores Pierce.
Yeah. But I will say you did get a dub when creating your YouTube name because Clapnuts is a winning name. So I trust in the long-term success of Clapnuts.
Yeah,
that's solid. Isaac G. Should I trade Cook and Rice for Pacheco?
No.
Is that Dalvin Cook? Because if it's
I'm thinking it's James Cook.
That's got to be James Cook.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's got to be James Cook. But like, I would almost. I don't think Pacheco's that far above James Cook, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you. They're very comparable. Pacheco's been used.
Let's put it this way. If this is what I'm trying to say, when I say that, Ryan, I'm not saying like tier difference. Like I'm not starting Pacheco blindly over James Cook.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with
that's,
you.
A lot of times, like a lot of times that's what fantasy football has to, we can get too like, brainy about things, but at the end of the day, there's either like starters, guaranteed starters, and then there's matchup dependent. They're not, they're still in that space for me. So I think Cook and Rice is by far the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
JAC. I just traded Goddard. I have Laporta and went looking to upgrade my flex position, so I traded Goddard for Olave. Thoughts?
Great.
Cha-ching. Yeah, thoughts? Yeah, fantastic. You have Laporta and Olave now.
I don't know who he's talking about, who he said over Downs. Oh, Palmer, maybe. Hard to see a wide receiver stand out consistently on the Chiefs. Oh, Rice. Keep in mind he has only gotten more than 6 targets one time. Downs. Okay, well, that's what you feel, Jack, and I feel differently. So,
I think the thing to keep in mind with Rice is just look at the trend. So, like week 5, 23% route participation, and then it went to 50, and then it went to 65. So it's trending. Just pay attention to the trend there, not to just the pure receptions each game and targets.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that Colts was kind of an outlier that game. I would not expect them to be putting up 38 points on a defense like that on a weekly basis. So,
Yeah, some people watch football, some don't. So, I watch
Thank you.
football, so that's where my opinions come from.
Thank you for your question, Jack. Moving on.
Hey,
George Play 01. Hey guys, I'm 7-0. My team is Tua, CMC, Kenneth, Cup, Olave, Goddard, and Flex James Cook. Bench Warren, Darrell, Dell, Deontay, JSN, Jameson. Should I trade Olave for Swift? He does have CMC and Kenneth, so DeAndre Swift would be his flex along with James Cook. But Olave, between Cup, Olave, I don't know if I would do that. What do you guys think?
I don't think he needs to.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, George, you're 7-0. It's working.
Yeah, you're 7-0. I maybe someone approached him for this trade, trying to get Olave for Swift, but I wouldn't go out actively trying to give up Olave when who would be your number 2 receiver there, Deontay Johnson, JSN, Jameson Williams. No, yeah, I'd keep that. Your running back room's great already. CMC, Kenneth, and James Cook.
Yeah, I would. If anything, I would look for wide receiver depth somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I try to package a couple of your bench players for some depth at wide receiver. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Should you trade Olave for Swift? Is that a serious question? Yeah, so it seems like Jack just thinks he knows everything about fantasy sports. So maybe we need to have him on sometime and he can tell us all the answers since he has them.
Jack, with these episodes, all the questions are answered at the end of the episode, but we appreciate everybody for chiming in.
Would you trade Mike Evans and Kyle Pitts for Dallas Goedert and Devonta Smith?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna say yes, I would, because I do think Devonta Smith does improve throughout the rest of the season, and Kyle Pitts is just hard to trust on a weekly basis. Mike Evans has been really good. I don't know. This is a tough one. Where do you guys lie on this one?
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me because I honestly was not a Mike Evans fan going into the year. I didn't think he would get, and he's proven me wrong every time he's healthy and playing. I don't know. What makes me a little bit nervous is having both Goddard and Smith starting for you each week.
Yeah.
They seem to cannibalize each other. Either one or the other is going to have a good game, not both.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kyle Pitts looks good too. I mean, he's had to have gained some trust in Ritter. If Ritter can get him the ball, he's clearly a playmaker. So I don't know. I agree with Shane. It's tough to start those 2 Eagles, especially like AJ Brown. If you know he's going to have games like he's had, and then just putting Goddard in there as a cherry on top if he gets some action, that maybe then I would be confident starting both of those. But because one of those guys seem to disappear each game, and it's been Goddard or Devonta Smith lately, it's probably tough to start both of them. I was considering not putting up JAC's next 2 comments because they're just so bad, but we're going to do it just to explain. He said, don't do that, bro tato chip. Mike Evans has been balling. So he uses the phrase bro tato chip. That should say enough about him. And then we go on to, they don't answer questions, which is peculiar because it makes sense considering they can only hold 1 or 2 viewers. So in the comments, it says, We appreciate everyone for joining. All comments and questions and comments will be addressed at the end of the episode. As our roadies know, we do waiver wire episode and red light, green light, where we release a podcast version. So we hammer out the episode and answer all questions at the end. So that's just the format of these two shows. So JAC, you can suck it. On to our boy B Cork.
B Cork.
Cork. Yeah.
Onto our loyal and one of our first ever roadies. Looking for a running back, wide receiver in the 4 to 11 ranking range for Eckler. Any advice?
So he wants to trade Eckler for a running back or wide receiver in the 4 to 11, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What
Maybe
about
Travis Etienne. He pops off to me.
Love Travis Etienne. I'd almost even look at this point, Kenneth Walker, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would go with Etienne over Kenneth Walker. I don't know. Where do you guys have those two ranked on your rest of the season?
Oh, Etienne's, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, they're both right around that top 5 cusp. So, but yeah, I think I would rather have Etienne over Eckler. So if you can be Cork, if you can somehow try to go grab Etienne. Kulz, what do you think? Does any other names pop out to you?
I like both those running backs. I mean, probably wouldn't go Swift over Eckler, right? That's going too far.
Yeah.
I mean, because like if Hurts didn't get all those rushing touchdowns from Swift, then Swift is probably in contention because he can be a receiving threat as well. But I don't know. I probably would agree with you guys on those two. What about receivers though? It sounds like he's looking to fill a flex spot. So receiver wise, like
AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown has been dominating lately.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone's making that trade.
That'd be tough. You could probably get CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he's not coming off a huge game. It was like a 17 PPR point game against the Chargers.
CeeDee Lamb, Diggs. If you can get Diggs, I would love that. I don't think you would want to go as deep as Ayuk, right? That's a little too far.
A little too far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in that range.
All right. Thanks for your question.
So we're saying Etienne, Walker, Diggs, and our 4 options. We would go there.
Yep.
Perfect. I think they're going to answer at the end. George Play, someone with some brains.
Thank you, George Play.
Thank you, George Play. And he agrees. Kenneth Walker, B Cork. So George Play, like you have earned yourself a gold star.
Yeah.
Should I flex Lockett or Roshan half PPR?
Ricky AA.
Gosh,
I'd probably Lockett.
Yeah. And be happy you have Roshan and just kind of, wait to see what his workload looks like. Hopefully Foreman trips over his laces and Roshan looks really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for this week, that's what I would do. Superflex League, drop Baker for Minshew.
Casey Martin, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Yes, I would be dropping Baker for Minshew. Minshew looked great last week against a stout defense in the Browns. So, yeah, I'd rather have Minshew over Baker. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, same thing. I like he's giving you some rushing production also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just look 1 week at a time. Bucks at Bills. I don't like that spot for the Bucks. The Bills at home on prime time are probably going to look to right the ship and dominate. Whereas the Colts have the Saints at home. Saints just gave up 31 to the Jags at home, and the Colts, looked really good at home against the Browns. So let's I'd say at least for week 8, Minshew over Baker for sure.
All right.
Shamar Sam. Hey guys, should I trade JJ for Pacheco and Metcalf? I really need a running back.
Check. Can you guys hear me at all?
You're good. You're good.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Let me. I'll come right back.
Good.
Hey guys, should I trade JJ for Pacheco and Metcalf? I really need a running back and my wide receivers are solid. If no, should I sell Jordan Addison and when? Should I trade JJ for Pacheco and Metcalf? I really need a running back and my wide receivers are solid.
So
If no, should I sell Jordan Addison and when?
Shamar Sam, thank you for joining. This is a great question.
So my understanding is Shamar Sam has JJ and Jordan Addison, correct?
yes, correct. You're correct. Yeah.
Okay. I don't love Pacheco and Metcalf, so I would say no there, but I actually like the idea of selling JJ.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you can get better. Hopefully, I would hope you can get better options from him. I don't know what. I'm just not a Pacheco or Metcalf guy, so what are y'all thinking?
For me, if you're really in need of a running back, which you're saying you do, I think you can do better than Pacheco. I would look to try to get a better upgrade than Pacheco. And don't worry about that combo with Pacheco and a wide receiver like Metcalf. And then on top of that, should you sell Jordan Addison and when? I wouldn't, even though right now would be a good time to sell high on him after he had a massive game with 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. So I would, try to jump up and get someone better than Pacheco.
And if you're going to sell Jordan Addison, now would be a good time.
Yeah.
Coming off that huge game, he looks great. I don't know. I would, at this point, like beating a team like that, if you're the Vikings and you go and get a couple big wins, maybe you beat the Packers and then you have the Falcons, like both winnable games, they could kind of change their entire season around these next few games. So, that could bode well for JJ rest of season when he gets back. But I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't at this point. I wouldn't be shortchanging yourself for JJ, given that win changes things a bit.
Yeah, Shamir, try to do Addison for like a Javonte Williams right now, maybe, or James Cook, who are both. Maybe you might be off of Addison's game. You could get Javonte Williams, maybe.
Yeah. Team was 4-3. Haven't been scoring much.
Yeah. Kittle or Laporta.
Laporta, the matchup is much better. And
I'm out here in Boston, and I'd be starting Laporta.
Yeah, Kittle. We called Kittle having a good game this past week, which he did. So Debo, if Debo's back, I don't know. I don't know Debo's status, but Laporta's got a great matchup.
I think he'll probably be back this week. No.
Yeah, if he's back, then it's bench Kittle for Laporta.
Yeah, I like that.
Should I be worried on Adams? Yeah, I am.
I mean, the worry factor is definitely there, but I'm not as. I don't know. I think he'll be okay.
Start Ayuk or Moore. I assume that's DJ Moore. He is at Chargers with Tyson Teabag
Bagent. Yeah, whatever his name is. Teabag. I'm gonna say start DJ Moore.
And Ayuk is Bengals. I'm starting Ayuk. I don't like Teabag. Bounce back spot for the Niners at home.
I was actually encouraged by DJ's. I mean, I think he had 12 PPR points with Teabag in there.
Check.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
But if we're continuing to get issues,
I can't hear you.
Booting you.
I can't hear a single thing you guys are saying.
We'll talk to you. All right. So Addison for Waddle.
Oh yeah, I like it.
I also like it. Can you hear us?
I can. Yes, I can. All good now.
All right. Well, we're almost done, so let's just power through.
Yes.
Addison for Waddle, I like it as well. I still want any piece of the Dolphins.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Addison for Waddle.
And or I have a surplus of wide receivers with London, Addison, JJ on my bench. How does Flowers and Addison for Keenan sound?
What was it?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, what was his first one? His first question was
Addison for Waddle.
Addison for Waddle. I would make that trade.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah, as opposed to the Flowers and Addison for Keenan.
Yeah,
I agree. And Duffy, if you have any recommendations for Truck, he is currently outside of Boston. It looks like you are a Patriots fan, and you may be able to help him out. But yeah.
By the way, Boston traffic sucks. Coming from someone who drives in Chicago all the time, traffic in Boston was brutal today. Brutal.
Maybe there was a tea party.
Maybe right by the Boston
Frank
Harbor.
the Dank hopes that Shamar starts scoring some points, and she says same. So with that, there may be a little bit of a spark in our comments section. Maybe Frank the Dank and Shamar Sam could get together.
Samar.
Could you imagine if there was, a relationship building in the section, in the roadies comment section?
Come watch the road show and you may find
love.
someone. Yeah, find love in the road show. That's funny.
Thank you, Cole. Sorry about your Astros. I'm not talking about that yet, B Cork. I'm sorry.
Rough.
Boston traffic is awful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Would I start Waddle over Flowers, DJ, or Amon-Ra? Not over Amon-Ra.
No.
Yeah, no.
And probably over DJ and Flowers. I think matchup does matter, but Waddle's starting to get a little bit more healthy. We think he was out a little bit in that game. So, I'm not really concerned about Waddle's health. If he came back and played and got 3 catches, looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I like Waddle. He's going to get better as the season goes.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
All right. Well, that is it for comments. Truck, you want to do your thing and sign us on out?
Yes, we appreciate everybody joining. You guys are the best. Thank you for listening, watching. Podcast goes live. Go check it out on all podcast platforms, the Fantasy Roadshow. We are live always on YouTube at youtube.com/sportsethos, probably where you're watching right now. We also go live on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Roadshow. All of our tags are in the post here. Fantasy Trucker, at Kulz_sports, at SMcCormick_FF. I butchered that, but we'll get there. As always, this episode is brought to you by Rule One Proteins. Stop what you're doing. Go to www.rule1proteins.com. Get some protein. Get some whey. Get your yes, absolutely. Comment right there. Enter in Roadies 40 at checkout to get 40% off. It's a great deal. Go check them out. They got a ton of good stuff. You won't be mad. And one more quick question before we leave, Gavin McGran.
This is a funny one.
Slip it in there.
On. We're gonna end because
should O trade for Ackler?
Gavin, you should. Yes, do whatever your heart tells you to do.
Yeah, should I trade for Eckler? As I'm assuming that's what that was. I used to play Mad Libs when I was a kid, and that's what that reminded me of. A game of Mad Libs. My bad. It's all good, buddy.
Gavin,
yes.
If you have Twitter, tweet us right now, and we'll tell you. We'll walk you through your potential trade at Kulz_sports, at Fantasy_trucker, at SMcCormick_FF, or at Fantasy Roadshow. Tweet us. We'll help you out with that one. But we are logging out for the evening. Buckle up.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me actually physically buckle up because I'm about to drive to my stopping point and I'm on the road. You guys take care. You guys have been awesome. Everybody buckle up.